I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okame.
We are the Super Media Bros podcast, and we are founding members of the OddPods Media Network.
Hey, I'm Pantsless Aaron.
This is Stevie.
And I'm Augie.
And we are Because Fuck You, That's Why, the podcast that's all about playing games and having fun. Our games are mostly based on British panel shows or British game shows, but we'll play just about anything that catches our attention and imagination. Our show is all about laughs, so please come by and have a great time. Why?
Because fuck you, that's why.
A ladle goes a long way.
Everything I'm about to tell you is a joke. Don't take it seriously.
Wow, this is great.
All that and more.
Is that breast milk?
Oh, wait. Die.
Super Media Bros.
Just needs to be vitamin B for booby.
Yeah, because I just vitamin D'd after that.
Vitamin B. the vitamin D. The vital D.
Vital B, D, and C.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 174 of the Super Media Bros podcast. I'm Midnight Agent Raw.
And we're about to get weird. I'm Okami.
Cult Cinema Showdown 74. It's a Takashi Miike double feature this week. Ichi the Killer versus Gozu. We have been waiting to do this one for a pretty good bit.
We've only been talking about it for years.
Yeah, just bear with us. If you're new to this podcast and this is your first episode, we have 73 other Cult Cinema Showdowns you can go listen to, get a feel for it. But god damn, we're reaching a lot of the films that we've had on our to-do list for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
It's almost been 3 years of Cult Cinema Showdown. In fact, in a couple of months, it'll officially be 3 years of it.
And now we're getting into the, we got into the Asian market already a couple of times, but now we're really diving into it.
Right. Again, like we stated earlier, it's a Takashi Miike double feature. And these two, Takashi Miike is a legendary motherfucker in Japan, but I'm saying these are probably two of the most mentioned of his works, even though the man has a shitload.
I mean, my first film from him was actually Gozu, but that was early 2010s when I watched it for the first time.
It might have been 2006 when I first saw it, because one of the first movies I watched was Full Metal Yakuza and then Ichi the Killer, because of Johnny Segura. Shout out to our boy Johnny. I remember me and him and another buddy of ours at his old house, back in, I think it was 2005. We watched Ichi the Killer, and that was the first time I'd ever seen it. And at the time, I was like, holy shit. I think it was around that time I had started really broadening what was violent on screen that I couldn't believe people were able to get away with and shit.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. This is a 20-year-old film.
Yeah, and Gozu's going to be 20 in 2 years. So I guess let's jump into Ichi the Killer. It's going to kind of be like the last Cult Cinema Showdown. We're not going to really go front to back on these movies because, again, these are kind of experiences, and put it to you this way. The plot kind of takes a back seat in both of these movies because they're more like, what the fuck is happening?
They're more visual pieces than anything else. Watching this film for the first time here recently, it's like a BDSM Batman versus Joker.
Essentially, this movie deals with Kakihara and his team trying to find their boss. Yeah, who has been killed, but they don't know that this has happened because a cleanup crew has come in and dude, I want to hire this cleanup crew personally because fuck, that was a lot of body parts and blood they removed from that house, and it was spotless by the time they finished.
I mean, that was an inside job, literally.
Yeah, I was going to say literally inside fucking job. But yeah, Anjo gets fucking massacred. This cleaning crew, which is... It's ran by Gigi, who is played by Shinya Tsukamoto, who we have covered with the Tetsuo trilogy, who is also a fucking legendary actor, director in Japan. Love his work. But basically, he removes any traces of like blood and entrails, and he's basically like, "Hey, Ichi the Killer this is your guy." So all these crime lords come and look at the apartment, and they're just like, "Anjo must have fled town with this prostitute and like 3 million yen of our money." The thing about this movie that I'm not really the biggest fan of is the whole like rape thing. I'm not a big fan of that.
Well, I mean, they mention pretty much how Ichi, he has that sadist fixation whenever his friend of his back in I don't remember what part of school it was.
Middle school.
Middle school, yeah. And she was getting raped by a bunch of kids, and he just sat there, but he was actually aroused by it. So now, growing up, you know, anytime he sees or inflicts pain or torture on anybody, like he gets this like inner urge to do it, but at the same time, it's like sexually arousing for him.
And then he's angry at the same time.
Yeah. Which,
come to find out later on, these are actually false memories implanted in him because he's been manipulated. And it goes a little far. It goes so far that his mind just breaks. And so he's just this really, emotionally fucked up human. But there's a lot of sequences in this movie where there's some dark comedy, especially the scene where this dude is in it's one of the guys that is part of the cleanup crew where he's in this like makeshift television set.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks fucking hilarious because when Kakihara and his crew roll in, they just kind of like roll him around in the room and they're just like, what the fuck is this? They're just like kicking him and wheeling him around and shit.
Don't they ask him where Ichi is, and they're just like pushing him around? He spins over to the camera and then comes right back.
Yeah, it's pretty damn funny.
But yeah, they eventually find him later on in the movie. He's all like full of hooks and shit.
Yeah, like they shoved him full of like these pins and all this other shit. Which there's one part of this movie where Gigi basically has told Kakihara that Suzuki, who is a member of a rival clan, is the person that kidnapped Anjo. So fucking Kakihara captures this dude and tortures the fuck out of him. He does like suspension on him where he's hooked through his fucking skin and he's like piercing him through his cheek and his fucking jaw. And then he pours boiling fucking oil all over his back and just burns the fuck out of him.
I mean, I just call him Tempura Man at this point. That's how I remember that scene.
He lost his tempura with this guy.
Because while he was sitting there doing this, Kakihara was literally making tempura on the side.
Right.
And Home Dude comes out of it and he's just like, tempura.
Yeah, right.
Wait, what the fuck am I doing here?
It's like, I'm just hanging out, waiting to be fed.
Yeah, he boils his fucking face to the point where like, eventually he gets all bandaged up except for like one eye and a mouthpiece open.
He looks like the fucking guy that Robert Zadar slices his head off in Samurai Cop.
Mm-hmm.
He's all like bandaged up like a fucking mummy. The scene though, like as soon as he scalds him, Suzuki's clan shows up and they're just like, he's fucking innocent, dude. Kakihara's just like, oh. What are you doing? It's just a little torture.
Playtime's over. Darn.
Right. But this is one of the scenes. I remember seeing this one in particular back in 2005 and being like, holy shit. And it's the sequence where Kakihara slices his tongue off as penance to Suzuki's boss. Because in great graphic detail, they show this.
Yeah, he gets like a tanto or some kind of blade and just literally pulls his elongated tongue, which is longer than usual, and just straight through it. What surprises me is just how much endurance Kakihara has for pain. Because he cuts his tongue, he winces a little bit and kind of lets out like a little scream, and then he goes right back to normal.
He kind of pukes or spits blood on the table and just answers the phone like, which cracks me up because, like you said, his tongue is so long that even when he's cut most of it out and it's like stitched back up, he's showing like his girlfriend or some shit in the alleyway, and it's Karen, I think. He's showing Karen in the fucking alleyway, and he's talking like nothing happened. He's just like, oh, yeah, it's just a little whatever. It's just a flesh wound.
I was about to say.
It's just a flesh wound.
But yeah, we outside of that, I'd go back to Ichi for a little bit too. There was one part where I think he was like a busboy or a waiter or something, and one of the workers was literally harassing him so damn much that he just kept telling him, like, you need to fucking kill yourself, like over and over again. And Ichi was just like, I'm sorry. And that's like the staple with him. He just constantly apologizes for everything. And Homedu is just like, sorry isn't going to solve anything, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, eventually the mind fucking keeps continuing with him. And there's a sequence where there was this hooker getting her ass handed to her by her
pimp,
pimp or somebody. And she got beat the shit out of so hard. I mean, Ichi was watching the freaking window of all places, still in the apartment, but she got the shit beat out of her so hard that her eye on one side was like just swollen shut. And Ichi meets her at the club that she works at and still, wants to do things to her, basically, even with the way she looks. And she said that. She's like, yeah, I'm surprised you come back to me the way that I am. And he proposes, like, maybe I should kill him because, you don't deserve that. But we all know at this point, Ichi takes things way too far after a while.
Yeah, because like we've said before, all this just kind of breaks the dude. And he just becomes homicidal. And forgot to mention his weapon of choice. He has these blades that shoot out of the heels of his shoes. He wears like this body armor suit when he goes out and does this shit.
What does it remind me of? It's not like paintball armor looking shit. It's something. It's like fencing armor-ish. I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint.
Looks also like tactical gear in a way.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the suit that Spider-Man wears at the end of the Spider-Man game when he's battling Doc Ock.
Oh, the
black suit.
Yeah.
A little bit like that. But still, this motherfucker is like precise with his little roundhouse kicks and his feet attacks, because that chick you were mentioning, when he shows up at her apartment, and he just roundhouses her goddamn jugular open, and it takes her a second to realize what has just happened.
Well, it's not so much that, too. It's the pimp.
Oh, yeah, he fucks that guy up nowadays a Sunday, too.
After he was having his way, he literally caught Ichi in the window, and he's just like, come over here. What the fuck you doing? Like, berating him so much. He fucking does this slice straight down the middle of his fucking head.
Oh my fucking God, dude. Talk about a splitting headache.
Yeah. And granted, this is a early 2000s film. The CGI is kind of, it's noticeable.
Well, if you think about it, yeah, I mean, it is noticeable for the time, but the budget wasn't, if I remember correctly, a lot of Takashi Miike's films didn't really have a very high budget because he always did a pretty decent return on investment with his movies. Most of them.
But I know there are going to be people out there going to be like, oh, that's CGI, though. It's like, we know. We saw it too, but the point I'm getting at is it literally split Home Dude in half. I mean, he just fell to both sides after that swift kick.
The way he just looks. Didn't he, like, after he kicked him, didn't he just sit there and he just waited for a second and he stepped away and he was just like, shit.
Yeah.
He just split. He just fucking splits it in half.
That 7-10 split.
Later, we get to where Kakihara is actually kicked out of the crime syndicate that he's a part of because of Suzuki. But what winds up happening is Anjo's whole fucking gang defects with him. So now, and this might have happened around the same time that Ichi winds up killing old boy, but Suzuki basically promises Gigi 1,000,000 yen to, quote, squash Kakihara, when Gigi is actually orchestrating events in order to pit the Yakuza clans against each other with the help of Ichi.
Let's not forget, though, Kakihara is so intimidating that the crime boss of the syndicate was on like a Zoom call or something, a video call on a laptop that one of the henchmen was holding.
Christ, this is great. It was Gigi also.
Yeah. He literally reached into his coat pocket to pull something out, and everybody flinched, including the guy on the receiving end of the video call.
Yeah, they almost like fought each other trying to leave the room.
Yeah, like that's how intimidating Kakihara is.
And he's just looking up like, what? Because it's hilarious because he's very intimidating, but he also has like an unassuming demeanor. It's one of the weirdest things about the character, but I think that's why I like that character. I don't like everything about him as far as like, there's some questionable shit, but as a character, he's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is pretty goddamn funny that they're that flipped out over him. There's, oh my God. It's like, what, guys? I was literally reaching for a fucking handkerchief. Just got this new nose piercing to add to all the other piercings in my face.
Yeah, I do like the stylization of Kakihara, like with the body, like the face scars going across his face certain ways and stuff like that. That's actually pretty cool.
I even like the plaid kind of suit thing that he's got going on.
That and his I'm in my PJs.
Dude, yeah, man, this man looks like he's wearing pajamas everywhere, and it's the greatest thing. It's like, dude, that's what I want to do. I just want to wear pajamas all the fucking time.
Some silk pajamas.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. All right, so at some point, Karen kind of lies, and I say kind of, she majorly lies to Ichi about being the female from his middle school past. I'm not going to get into too many details, other than the fact that Ichi sweeps the leg Johnny's her ass. Like, he cuts her fucking foot off at the shin, and doesn't he slice her neck also?
Yeah, same position and everything.
Yeah, so you got a legless, bleeding out chick flailing everywhere in the goddamn hallway, and it's beautiful.
How is it that nobody in the vicinity even heard this chick screaming?
It's probably like his neighbor's like, oh, that Ichi again.
Oh, that boy. I question him sometimes.
I question him sometimes. When is that boy ever going to get laid?
Or maybe that is him getting laid. They just think that.
He's getting blayed.
BLAID.
That's right.
Bladed and jaded.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. That's the sequel.
Yeah.
Which there's other movies in this franchise, but still, god damn. So anyway, like there's another subplot where there is a child of one of Kakihara's henchmen.
I have a child.
Now I have a child. So there's a final confrontation on this rooftop where Kakihara and Ichi are fighting each other, or at least he's wanting to fight Ichi. Now the fucked up part is that Ichi actually believes that Kaneko is his brother, who is the father of the child that we mentioned earlier, and he confronts him. Well, Kaneko winds up shooting him in the fucking thigh, and this pisses him off, and in front of the kid, he spin kicks his throat wide open, which you pointed out was like it was brutal, but also unrealistic, to which I was kind of thinking, well, maybe they were kind of going with the manga because it's a little over the top. Most of this movie is over the top. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's a scene where Kakihara's mouth opens wide when a dude tries to punch him, and he fucking scrapes the meat off of this dude's hands with his teeth.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't mention that. So yeah, he was literally confronting one of these guys in an alleyway, and he took the piercings out that was literally holding the scar together, and he opened his mouth, and the guy punched through his fucking mouth to the point where his wrist was like the last thing you saw from his arm up, and it looked like some fucking alien shit in Kakihara's mouth, because he had like these serrated looking teeth and shit. And whenever the guy pulled his hand back out, I mean, it was literally just shredded flesh and bone from his fingers down. I was like, oh my God, like that is disgusting, but awesome at the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of like this scene and another scene where he's kind of in chains getting his ass beat by this chick or whatever.
It was by Karen.
Yeah. But this scene is also another example of the way he is, I guess, because the dude hits him a couple times and he's just like, put some feeling into it. If you're going to give someone pain, you've got to get into it.
Right.
Like you've got to put your heart into it or whatever.
But yeah, not to forget that the kid was actually rescued by Ichi in an alleyway because 3 other school kids were picking on him about how his dad used to be a cop or some shit like that. And now he doesn't have a gun, so they made fun of him for that shit. Well, Ichi was, I guess, being pestered to the point where he kicked the kid that was pestering him so hard that he like barreled over, and the other 2 left with him. And the one kid left over was like, well, thank you. You're my friend now, right? And Ichi, he's so awkward. He's socially awkward that he tries to run away, and he turns around and stops like, my name's Ichi, because he asked the question. But after that, he hightails it. So the same kid sees his dad getting murdered by the friend that saved him in the alleyway. First of all, Ichi is on the ground, crying his ass off. I mean, it's like dramatically over the top baby crying. It's kind of weird to like watch. And Kakihara is literally looking at him like, come on, we have this epic fight we got to do. What are you doing? Let's do this. Like right now, he had his little needles out and everything. He's like, we're doing this.
Yeah, that's right. And because the kid's name is Takeshi. Takeshi walks over and just starts kicking the fuck out of him. And I think it's at this point where Kakihara winds up just piercing his eardrums.
Because he's tired of hearing it, yeah. Which that made me fucking cringe because, like, oh my God, I can't stand needles to begin with, regardless of what they are. But the fact that he shoved them into his ear canal and just ruptured his eardrum, I was like,
Right.
No.
Well, as this happens, Kakihara basically realizes that Ichi's not going to hurt him because he's unstable as fuck. So then he looks as soon as he's deaf, and Ichi has chopped off the child's head. Holding it, chopped it off, and just throws it down. Well, when Kakihara sees this, Ichi charges him, and he fucking like stabs him right in the forehead with his blade in his boot. And it's weird because like Kakihara like gets kicked or some shit, and he has like this backflip down a stairwell, and he lands on this like railing that he can't balance on, and he falls the fuck off to his death. Like, which is fucking hilarious because as he's falling down, he's like, "Wow, this is great."
Yeah.
I guess it's like his ultimate fantasy. He's like, okay, I wanted this fight, and I wanted this to be like the biggest rush. Like, I'm gonna die. This is a big rush.
Well, I think that's like the biggest struggle with Kakihara the whole film was like there was no thrill in
High
life.
enough. Yeah.
There was no like adrenaline for him that can top what his old boss was doing to him. Because that was one thing Karen was told was that, you know, Anjo did it better. He hit him hard enough to where he had feeling behind it. Now, I think that was the prime of like enjoyment he had. And at that moment, that got surpassed by him literally falling to his death.
Right.
We also shall not forget the other little fight scene happening on the bottom floor of that place as well.
Right. Whenever old boy gets all his body parts fucked up. Ugh.
Well, when home dude took his freaking trench coat off, because I mean, from a distance, this guy looks like a homeless old man.
Yeah, this is Shinya Tsukamoto's character, by the way. Yeah,
But
this was funny, though.
He reveals himself to be this, I mean, drastically built motherfucker.
Mr. Universe looking son of a bitch.
But it's clearly superimposed onto someone else's body. Like, you can definitely tell, but it's fucking hilarious.
That's what I was saying. I think that's what makes it funny. But yeah, oh my God, yeah. So you're talking about when he finds him, but he doesn't have the wound on his forehead.
Because that was the first thing I noticed was he looked at his hair and he moved it and there was no slight slit or nothing on his forehead.
Basically what happened is that they don't come out and say it in the movie, but Kakihara basically hallucinated both Takeshi's murder and Ichi's attack. And he basically jumped to his death while Ichi was crying because he was just like, fuck this.
Mm.
But years later, the movie ends on a shot years later of Gigi's corpse hanging by his neck from a tree in a park. And it's supposed to be this younger guy that resembles an older Takeshi leaving the park with a group of school children, and he just kind of turns to the camera and looks.
Right.
And that's how they end the movie.
I really like the rolling credits, how it's like all the type just going different directions all across the screen and stuff. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. I haven't seen it before. It might be used all over the place, but still, I don't care. It's
No,
cool.
yeah, I was going to say, it's fun.
But yeah, that's Ichi the Killer.
The Killer. Does your dad resemble a 70s disco Yeti man?
Do you need to turn into a swan?
Did you accidentally post a photo of your father on the internet that you thought was Bigfoot?
Have you ever wondered why your dad's OnlyFans page is bombing? Only because he got the wrong picture of himself up there? Well, look no further. We have the solution for you.
That's right. Make your dad proud this year for Father's Day and get him, and maybe yourself, the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. The Lawnmower 4.0. Imagine surprising your dad with a sleek, well-designed and optimized body hair trimmer that says, "Your balls will thank you" on the box.
Yo, bruh, thank you for trimming us down here. We've been needing it for about 5 years now.
This 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to the advanced skin-safe technology. Now, how is this one different than the other hair trimmers?
It gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. You can shave your balls in the dark.
It also includes a multi-function on-off switch that can engage a travel lock. This is a great feature if your father or you do a lot of traveling.
The Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard links with sizes 1 through 4.
The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help the battery length last longer. Yeah, you heard that right. Wireless charging ball trimmers are now a thing. Also, have you ever seen a nose bush sticking out of your dad's nose? The Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer is the best nose hair trimmer on the market and the perfect gift for your dad.
They also have other amazing products like cologne, crop mop ball wipes, crop reviver ball toner, and crop preserver ball deodorant, so you can be smooth and smell great.
Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SUPER at manscaped.com.
Repeat that code.
That's 20% off with free shipping using our code SUPER at manscaped.com. Manscaped products are cruelty-free, paraben-free, dye-free, and vegan. That's 20% off with free shipping using our code SUPER at manscaped.com. Don't forget that you came from your dad's balls. This year, show your original home some love with Manscaped. Your home's gonna be more ballin' than ever.
Make dads like us ballin'.
Let's move on to Gozu, released in 2003. Now, it's classified as a crime, drama, horror. I didn't personally see any horror other than the dog. I see a little crime. I don't really see drama, but I see a lot of fucking dark humor. Let's give this synopsis and then just get into the weird shit. A Yakuza enforcer is ordered to secretly drive his colleague to be assassinated. But when the colleague unceremoniously disappears en route, the trip that follows is a twisted, surreal, and horrifying experience.
Yeah.
Something like that. Now, where do we start? Do we start with the fact that Ozaki is just this unstable motherfucker that kills a chihuahua? God damn, dude.
There was a organized meeting of the Yakuza, not the Yakuza, it was a opposing crime syndicate. And Ozaki stops the boss before he says anything else. Like, he literally puts his hand on it and he's like, everything I'm about to tell you is not a joke.
No, everything I'm about to tell you
is a joke, I'm sorry. So don't take it seriously. But he stares outside. He's like, that dog out there, that's a Yakuza attacking dog. It will kill anything on sight, basically. And he looks outside. He's like, don't look at it. No eye contact.
Right? And it's just this little fucking chihuahua.
Yeah. Ozaki goes out there. Again, guys, if y'all don't like this kind of stuff, don't listen to this part. I get it. But he yeets this dog straight into the fucking concrete, like hard. Picks it up again, does it again. And as the group is watching from the inside, you go back to Ozaki and he's throwing the dog against the door and then comes back around with it on the leash and like helicopter spins it and just pow.
Right into the glass.
No cares in the world.
That's how this movie opens. This is a 2-hour and 8-minute movie, and that's how this opens. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And then we get Minami, who is tasked to put him out of his misery.
Which he's going to, except, yeah.
But not in the way we think.
I would have honestly watched 2.5 hours of these two motherfuckers in a convertible car, just road trip movie. Because the shit was funny. But what makes me laugh is that Ozaki is just completely oblivious to the fact that he's being set up.
Yeah, because he asks, is like, why would I be sent over to this town? I forget the name of it, but it's a particular town that any crime syndicate would know that, like, that's where you're going to die to be dumped off.
Was that Nagoya?
Yeah, but he didn't even question it as like much as he should have. He just kind of nonchalantly asked the question, and it's like, okay. And then Minami's just awkward as hell the entire time. It's like, you know, why am I doing this, basically?
It doesn't come to a head completely right here, because Ozaki just looks out the back of this convertible and sees this white car. He kicks the shit out of Minami. He's like, pull the car over. And he pulls them over and they jump out of it with the guns. He's like, that is a Yakuza car. It's just some fucking woman.
who apparently hit her head on the fucking drive, like the steering wheel.
The smile.
I mean, either that or she took a really good hit of something because like her nose is bleeding real bad.
She probably hit up that Minami connection.
Somewhere in Minami.
Somewhere in Minami. Got that fucking cocaine.
But yeah, Ozaki literally ran up to the car with a fucking pistol in hand and just pointed it at her. And she's just like, can I help you? But yeah, Minami stops him in time, shoos the woman away, and then they proceed to carry on. And I think eventually this is the point where Minami hits the brakes so hard on the way to the town that he makes Ozaki headbutt himself on the back of the seat, fall over on the side.
Well, he accidentally kills him.
Yeah, and it just happens.
Yeah.
Minami checks on him and he's like panicking because like he didn't kill him, but he killed him.
So he goes to this coffee shop, and this is where the movie gets like ridiculous. So like I said, we're not going to go like from front to back because we'd be here all fucking night. Essentially, like there's a lot of these strange people that are in here. I mean, for fuck's sake, one of them is this fucking innkeeper that she's constantly lactating.
Oh, yeah.
He meets this one guy who's taking a shit in the middle of a straw field or something, who is supposed to be like half albino, but it's just white face paint.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, we're saying that he's albino and we can't hide it. No, in the movie, it's obviously supposed to be fucking face paint.
Yeah. Yeah, there's that dude. And then there's this random old guy that's constantly on the phone with someone about how yesterday it was hotter. Today it's not. And that is the only thing he says over and over again. But yeah, Minami gets fed this custard that obviously makes him sick and puke. Well, he comes out and he notices in the car that Ozaki's body is gone.
Uh-oh.
So he proceeds to ask everybody's like, have you seen somebody walk in here? And
he's like the T-1000. Have you seen this boy?
looking for Ozaki.
The Ozaki 9mm.
But yeah, nobody's seen Ozaki at all. And Minami calls the boss. Guys, this is one of the few things about this film that I distinctly remember the most is the fucking ladle. Ladle. The boss is having his way with a whore with a fucking ladle stuck up his ass. And I mean handle like is about halfway up there.
He's getting ladled.
Yeah. And the boss is on the phone with Minami telling him he needs to find Ozaki and dispose of him. Like now, like no ifs, ands, or buts.
Mid-intercourse.
And in the background, you can hear on Minami's end, the woman moaning with pleasure. And then on the counter, the guy that's serving him coffee, he's just sexually getting aroused by something. I'm assuming he can hear the woman too. But the funniest part about this whole fucking film was whenever the boss was really about to come, she moves the ladle just enough to where it hits his balls and he goes, die.
And that's where the scene just cuts. It just cuts right there. But again, later on, the innkeeper is trying to offer him a hot bath and also a hot bath of breast milk.
She offers to wash his back, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have big tits, don't I?
Right? He's just like, what?
No.
No. And then like later, he's trying to eat dinner, and then the tit milk is just like dripping from this one touch light on the ceiling that the way they shot it, the touch light with the milk dropping off the dead center, but it looks like a tit.
Yeah.
Just dropping into one of his fucking like soup bowls overnight, and it's dripped so much that the whole bowl is filled up by the next day that he wakes up.
It looks like a cereal bowl with no cereal.
Well, the chick that has the breast milk apparently has this brother that can channel spirits, and this is where we meet like the Gozu, like the man with the cow head. It licks on him and all this other weird ass shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, Minami tracks Ozaki to a junkyard where he gets told basically that he got turned into a fucking skin suit. And when he goes back to his car, there's a female that is claiming to be Ozaki, and she even like proves it by recalling the whole circumcision thing and a few other details that only he would know.
Right.
Well, this is where it starts getting even weirder because Manami's like they're spending the night at the hotel, and Manami starts hearing like a voice coming from her vagina. It
eventually starts leading to him having awkward feelings of, I'm attracted to this Ozaki, but at the same time, this is my old friend, brother Ozaki. What the hell is wrong with me?
Right. Well, this is the next day when Manami drives the chick back to his gang's place, and he's trying to explain everything to his boss, but she actually starts claiming that she's the daughter of another Yakuza family's deceased boss, and she wants to work for Manami's boss now. Well, he takes her to try to have sex with her, and he winds up like trying to pick, like, it's so funny because he's just got like this plethora of soup ladles, and you find out this is like the only way that he can achieve an erection is by shoving a fucking soup ladle in his ass.
Soup kitchen, anyone?
His favorite candy is now in ladles.
He is Superman.
He is Superman. But anyway, Manami winds up confronting him, and he punches him. And then he shits what I hope is milk, which you know it's not.
It's almost like whenever you degland a dog, it's like the juices that come out of the fucking ass.
It's so nasty.
Yeah, it's like just everywhere.
Well, he winds up falling on his ass with the ladle still in, and basically impales himself, and he fucking dies and comes at the same time. Like this, it's so fucked up. The parallel, or like Kakihara to achieve the ultimate high of like, oh my god, I'm about to die. This is great. Fucking his boss. Wow, this is great.
It's just a weird like flip here. Like American old men that die having sex just have a heart attack in bed. Or Japanese old men have sex, they die from a fucking ladle getting shoved their ass too far.
Right. Well, anyway, when Manami and the female go back to his house, they finally have sex, but his dick kind of gets caught inside of her because there is a fucking hand.
So we get the horror aspect of it, of now it's like a Chinese finger trap on his dick.
Yeah.
Because he's like dragging her around fucking rooms with her stuck to him.
It's actually kind of funny scene though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we find out that as this hand emerges, it is actually the original male Ozaki who just pops right out of her vagina.
Oh, like
literally.
Another part of this film that I distinctly remember the first time watching is whenever she basically shits him out all the way to Manami, and all you hear is like,
I love that sound.
I'm not joking. It's literally that sound effect. As he's just like,
what if it was that?
Yeah.
Oh god, oh hey, what's up, guys? I'm all slimy and shit, but I'm here.
Well, it's either that or the blowfish. Female Ozaki just and
What the hell?
yeah.
Exactly. He just pops up.
What you want?
Oh god damn it. Anyway,
So you might wonder, like, how does all that weirdness end?
well, the two males along with the female Ozaki are seen just walking down the street together. Cool. That's Gozu, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's weird because like it's not necessarily that it's difficult to pick a winner. It's just that these two movies are so out there in such different ways that it's all in preference. As much as I love Ichi the Killer, and trust me, I love that fucking movie, I think I'm leaning a little towards Gozu more just because of the oddball factor of a lot of this shit and a little more of the humorous elements that is attached to it.
See, I was kind of on the opposite end because, like, I watched Gozu years ago, and I'm still just what the fucking after all these years. But I mean, Ichi the Killer, I'm so fascinated with Kakihara, like how calm and collective and psychotic he is, and how he he has no boundaries when it comes to inflicting torture and having inflicted torture upon himself. And I think with that and just the huge conflict of differences between him and Ichi that complement each other, like there was more personality, I guess you can say, with Ichi the Killer's characters than there was with Gozu. Not by much, but enough for me to like actually stay more engaged with that movie. I really enjoyed Ichi the Killer a little bit more, to be honest with you. Even though Gozu just, like you said, had that out there strangeness, I still like Ichi.
Oh, Ichi the Killer is a fantastic film.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm happy that you enjoyed it as much as you did because I know that was your first watch.
Yeah.
So, do we have a draw or do we do a tiebreaker? I'm going to go ahead and leave it down to this. The different Yakuza clans, their respective leaders. Ozaki would have his ass handed to him completely by Kakihara.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ichi the Killer. That's the only tiebreaker I can think. Where it's like, oh, these two Yakuza clans, yeah, fuck it.
Well, I was about to say, like, if anybody goes up against Kakihara, they automatically will lose.
True.
I mean, mine is Ichi, who just annoyed him so much that he defeated him. But yeah, I mean, lactation can't beat him. A fucking man with a cow head can't beat him. Ladles can't beat him because he's probably like, I've done that before, bro. Come on.
Try me, bro. Try me again.
I've done spatulas. I've done wooden spoons. I've done ladles, whisks.
Done the whole kitchen section. IKEA loves me.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I'm their favorite customer. Oh, hi, Kakihara. I didn't know it was you.
I've done all of Rachel Ray's line in my ass.
It's not even really just preferences. I think it was just more of like what we enjoy from each one is a draw. But like at the end of the day, yeah, I do see Ichi the Killer just taking the edge a little more. As much as I love it, you know, Gozu is just a great fucking movie. It's weird. It's out there. I like the humor in it. But yeah, if we really like put it to certain characters, as far as that goes, yeah, definitely Ichi the Killer. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll lean towards Ichi the Killer getting the victory this week. It's a good argument though.
Yeah, because like outside of like Ozaki and Home Dude with the Ladle, there really wasn't much out there going on besides like the random scenes of like, you know, the one squeezing her boobs and the fucking female Ozaki popping out male Ozaki.
All right, so next time we come back for Cult Cinema Showdown, we keep saying like, oh yeah, we've been waiting to do this, but no, you don't understand. These two films we've been waiting to do for a good goddamn bit, mostly because of the fact that we had a hard time tracking one of them down. On episode 176, this will be Cult Cinema Showdown 75, we're going to do the Eternal Evil of Asia versus Encounter of the Spooky Kind. Yeah, you heard that right. If I'm not mistaken, you can find Eternal Evil of Asia on YouTube. But I know for a fact, like, Encounter of the Spooky Kind just got a Blu-ray release. It's on Amazon, so I think that's probably the only way you can check that out. I know its sequel is on YouTube, but it's a standalone sequel, so it's not going to have any kind of like connection to the first one.
Right.
But yeah, that's going to be the next one that we do. So be prepared for that shit, because it's probably going to be another fucking weird ass bunch of shit.
Yeah, we've done so many fucking Asian films now. We're both like, can it get any weirder? Oh, yes, it can.
Oh, yeah. To get even more weird, go to supermediabrospodcast.com to listen to past, present, and future episodes.
We're always staying weird.
That's right. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or podchaser.com. Check out all the other shows on the OddPods Media Network. Follow us on social media. It's all in the show notes below. Buy some merchandise. Don't forget to hit up that Manscaped offer we just fucking laid out for you guys.
And please tell us, what kind of ladle do you use? You like that plastic nylon? Do you like the metal with the wooden handle?
Do you like the handle to be hooked at the end?
I mean, what gets you going? You know? What makes you soup?
I was gonna say the same thing. How do you like your soup?
Y'all think I'm crazy. Y'all think I'm joking. I'm not.
No,
Tell me your favorite ladle. Social media, it don't matter what kind. Just tell me, hey, Cody, I like this kind of ladle.
This brand.
This particular one.
This finish.
OXO.
I like this brand, this finish with this handle.
Yeah. Give me that Paula Deen type One with the butter grip.
Yeah, 2 sticks of butter.
Easy access.
Right. You ready to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, and pull his laid off mask.
That's right.
A lot of butt stuff for today.
That's right. As we should have just named this episode Butt Stuff the Musical or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
That was episode 174, Cult Cinema Showdown 74, Ichi the Killer versus Gozu. Until next week, I've been Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okami.
Shades on.
Killer butt stuff.